If Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be two reasons: money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy parties.
It's all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.D. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all.
You know how the internet loves a good controversy, right? Well, the Diddy issue has been a never-ending feast of drama. And just when you thought you've gotten your fill, bam! Another dish is presented. This time, it concerns none other than T.D. Jakes, the mega pastor, the spiritual guru to millions. He just recently stated he's stepping down from his post at the Potter's house. And the rumor mill is working overtime. Now everyone's got their theories, from health concerns to wanting to explore other endeavors. But Monique, honey, she's not buying any of it. She's got her own version of the reality, and according to her, it's all related to Diddy's present problem. The murmurs are becoming stronger that Jakes was somehow tied to Diddy and his, extracurricular activities. And supposedly, the powers that be at the Potter's mansion weren't too enthusiastic about the possible ramifications. They apparently spotted the writing on the wall and decided to avert a PR catastrophe by kindly recommending Jakes take a step back before things became any more sensational. Basically, they didn't want the filthy dirt ruining their seats. So what's the true story? Monique believes she knows, and she's not scared to tell. Get ready for some huge bombshells because Monique is going to unveil the purported underlying reason for T.D. Jakes' resignation. Okay, so let's speak about the extent of this T.D. Jakes predicament. The announcement that Bishop Thomas Dexter Jake, T.D. Jakes to the rest of us, is stepping down from his job as senior pastor of the Potter's house. That's not just church news, that's cultural news. The internet practically erupted. The type of fervor you normally see when a pope kicks the bucket, or the Archbishop of Canterbury calls it quits. And honestly, considering Jakes' popularity, particularly within the African American community and worldwide amongst Black people, it's no surprise. We're talking about a character who's been a cornerstone of Black life in America, Christian or not, since the 90s. His TV programs alone reached millions. He advised leaders including George W. Bush and Barack Obama. He spoke at the funerals of luminaries like Whitney Houston and Aretha Franklin. Calling him a famous preacher is a tremendous understatement. He was a cultural icon. He was revered, admired, and considered as a spiritual leader for so many. But you knew there was a but coming, right? Lately, things haven't been that rosy. Amidst all the praises and excellent exposure, rumors began flying, tying him to some of the problems surrounding Diddy. And let's be serious, those types of claims, they can cause even the most carefully manufactured image start to disintegrate. All that goodwill, all that public affection, it begins to seem a bit less safe when those types of stories start floating. And that's when things become very intriguing, because now we're getting Monique's side of the tale. Now Monique has dropped a truth bomb that's had everyone talking about Bishop T.D. Jakes' unexpected resignation. Forget the official answers, Monique's got a notion, and let me tell you, it's a doozy. She's not buying the entire, I'm stepping down to concentrate on other things story for a second. No, Monique is sure that Jake's departure is directly related to his suspected participation with Diddy and those notorious parties that have been making news for all the wrong reasons.
And I'm gonna lay my hands on you, Bishop. And he said, and then the is on the that. He's doing all of this, right? And then there's a woman on the dais.
And now that the authorities are engaged and the charges are piling up, everyone's scurrying to remove themselves. Monique argues that maybe Jakes stepped a little too near to the flame, got caught up in the glitter and glamour of Diddy's lifestyle, and maybe, just maybe, done some things he's not quite proud of anymore. And when the heat began rising up, when the claims of fucking trafficking and drugging started flying, he attempted to deny it all, believing it would simply blow away. But here's where it gets very intriguing. Monique feels that Diddy, now facing down the barrel of significant prison time and presumably feeling like the entire world has turned against him, is sitting on a treasure mine of receipts. We're talking about proof, recordings, maybe even images that may expose everyone who was engaged in his suspected dirty operations. Think of it as a nuclear option. If Diddy goes down, he's bringing everyone with him. So Monique's idea is that Jakes, knowing that Diddy could be preparing to put everyone under the bus to save his own skin, is simply attempting to get out of the way before the bomb drops. He's discreetly quitting, trying to limit the damage to his career and his ministry before Diddy gets more angry and chooses to disclose all that damaging material. It's like a preemptive strike, a calculated withdrawal before the conflict even starts. And you have agreed, it's a really intriguing notion that certainly makes you think, maybe there's something to this. The timing is clearly odd, and the fact that Jake's name has been associated to Diddy's in the past, even in unsubstantiated accounts, adds fuel to the fire. It's like a real-life soap opera, with powerful individuals, shocking charges, and the possibility for a major collapse. Whether it's true or not, Monique's notion has surely given a whole new layer of interest to an already intricate narrative. And it's left everyone wondering what the actual reason for Jake's departure really is. And fans get it. One person wrote, "T.D. Jakes recently stated he is stepping down from his post as a pastor at the Potter's house. They all know that the P. Diddy trial is going to uncover embarrassing facts that will no longer be pushed away under the rug. We will know what goes on behind the pulpit." Word on the street is that Jakes didn't simply quit. He's going to escape the country. Yeah, you heard it correctly. Currently, the rumor mill is churning out reports that he's about to depart town because of Diddy's trial, which is slated to take off on May 5th. One fan wrote, "T.D. Jakes walks down as pastor a week before the Diddy trial?" Another addition, "Diddy trial next week, and T.D. Jakes retired this week with Creole Thieves tour flopping? Oh, next week about to be a full idiot about being drawn into the entire situation, either by being summoned to testify, having some dirty laundry blown publicly, or just being linked with Diddy in general." So the tale goes, he's concluded that the best way to defend himself is to simply pack his bags and go. There's no other way for him to repair his image. The guy tried incredibly hard, but it appears like running away is all that there's left anymore. But there will come a moment. Gone is all that there's left now. I mean, keeping a squeaky clean image when you're in the public spotlight is a full-time job, and T.D. Jakes, being the mega pastor he is, has that job down to a science. He built this image as a spiritual leader, a family guy, a light of righteousness. He authored best-selling books, preached about religion and achievement, acted in movies projecting the same benign message, and created an empire on that character. It was all about portraying a specific image, a carefully manicured version of himself. But here's the issue. You can't wear a mask forever. You may write all the books you want, appear in all the movies you can manage, but you can't conceal your actual nature endlessly, especially when that actual self, reportedly, entails things like being a member of Diddy's inner circle, attending those famed Diddy parties, and perhaps indulging in behaviors that are, well, let's just say they don't exactly mesh with the image of a dedicated preacher. The murmurs imply that Jakes worked hard to compartmentalize his life, to keep his professional image apart from his private one. But secrets have a way of emerging, particularly when they're related to someone as high profile as Diddy. It was only a matter of time before the flaws in the facade started to emerge, before the carefully manufactured image began to shatter under the weight of the claims. And now, with Diddy's world disintegrating, those gaps are deepening, and Monique is here to shine a light on what she feels was buried in the shadows for far too long. The truth, as they say, always comes out. And let's very quickly bring everyone up to speed on a vital piece of this jigsaw, particularly for those of you who may be scratching your heads right now. So, for those who don't know, this isn't just some random online rumor. This scenario has legs, and it's got some major legal ramifications. World-known Dallas preacher T.D. Jakes' name has really been drawn into the Diddy controversy in a very particular manner. A producer, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who worked with Combs, filed a lawsuit, and inside that case, there's a fairly explosive claim. The producer alleges that Diddy intended to utilize his friendship with Bishop Jakes to try to cushion the impact to his public image once Cassie Ventura filed her complaint. In a comprehensive 98-page complaint filed in U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York and later revised, Jones has made significant claims against Sean Diddy Combs. Jones alleges that throughout his time living and working with Combs, from September 2022 to November 2023, he was subjected to sexual and harassment, drugging, and threats. The complaint also names actor Cuba Gooding Jr., Combs' adult son Justin, his chief of staff Christina Coram, Universal Music Group CEO Sir Lucian Grange, and former Motown Records CEO Ethiopia Haptamariam as defendant. While Bishop T.D. Jakes is not listed as a defendant, he is referenced once in the civil complaint. Jones alleges he recorded hours of video and audio of Combs, his staff, and others engaging in serious illegal activity, including drug use, shootings, and crimes, and that after that, things got even messier when, according to the Dallas Morning News, in December 2023, Bishop T.D. Jakes' name started popping up in connection with all this Combs drama. Unverified accusations on social media were accusing him of, get this, partaking in STTL parties supposedly hosted by Diddy. I mean, talk about a plot twist, right? Of course, Jakes addressed the rumors front on at a Christmas Eve ceremony at the Potter's residence. He attempted to shut it all down, denying any connection, and essentially stating it was all a huge misunderstanding. But honestly, his denials didn't really persuade a lot of people. With all the other things coming out about Combs and the rumors simply swirling around, a lot of individuals were left wondering, maybe there's more to this than he's letting on. It really put a hole on his image, you know? Like, even if it's not accurate, the fact that his name was even mentioned in the same sentence as these charges, it's not a good picture. In his service, T.D. Jakes added, "The worst that could happen if everything was real, all I need to do is repent truly, from my heart," he said. "There's enough power in the blood to cover all kinds of sin. I don't care what it is, the blood would fix it," Jake said. "But I ain't gotta repent over this." Adding gasoline to the already boiling fire, many found Jake's answer at his Christmas Eve sermon very disturbing. Instead of a straightforward and powerful rejection of the alarming charges tying him to Combs' alleged conduct, his statements took a totally different route. He talked at length on the power of repentance and forgiveness, saying that even in the worst-case scenario, redemption was possible. This focus on the possibilities for atonement, rather than a clear denial of the charges, struck many as exceedingly unusual, to say the least. The fact that he looked to be pondering the potential of crime, even in a hypothetical sense, rather than forcefully proclaiming his innocence, only helped to strengthen the impression in many people's minds that there was in fact something to conceal. It was as if he was already prepared for the risk of exposure, a subtle acknowledgement that said volumes. This apparent absence of a straightforward denial, substituted instead with words of contrition, unsurprisingly raised even more questions and exacerbated the already intense scrutiny around him, leaving many wondering what he wasn't saying. The lack of a solid, "I did not do this," was deafening. Monique's idea isn't the first instance of Jake's link to Diddy raising questions. Back in 2022, a video leaked showing Jakes attending Diddy's opulent 50-30 birthday celebration in Los Angeles. And it made quite a commotion, especially among Christians on social media. The footage showed Jakes conversing with other attendees at the star-studded dinner, and it quickly triggered a flood of questions and worries. Many questioned the propriety of Jakes, a famous religious person, attending a party held by Diddy, given the music mogul's reputation for organizing expensive and frequently hedonistic gatherings. Some asked whether it was suitable for a pastor to be associated with someone renowned for a lifestyle that frequently contrasted with conventional Christian principles. Others questioned the prudence of attending a party renowned for its prominent visitors and perhaps dubious actions. The scandal emphasized the continuous struggle between religious leaders and the secular world, and it left many asking about the nature of Jacques' connection with Diddy and if it was acceptable for him to be there at such a gathering, given the reputation of those parties. The episode served as a reminder of the scrutiny that public people, particularly religious leaders, receive over their personal decisions and relationships. Even as the scandal over Jake's participation at Diddy's birthday celebration arose, a substantial damage control operation was conducted to limit the repercussions. Derek Williams, executive vice president of T.D. Jakes Entertainment, who was also present at the party, sought to minimize the importance of the occasion. Williams informed the Christian Post, CP, that the video was shot during a quick stop at the party when they were in Los Angeles on business. He underlined that it was a brief visit, not an endorsement of Diddy's lifestyle or a full-fledged participation in the celebrations. Another person close to the matter also informed CP that, to their knowledge, it was the only party held by Diddy that Jakes had ever attended, further seeking to diminish the apparent relationship between the two. Williams further added that, as a filmmaker, executive producer, and one of the pioneers of value-based movies, Bishop Jakes, in his capacity as CEO of T.D. Jakes Entertainment, paid honor to the former chairman of Revolt during the celebration of his birthday. This explanation portrayed Jakes' participation as a professional politeness, a business show of respect for Diddy in his function as the chairman of Revolt, rather than a personal endorsement or an indication of similar beliefs. However, despite these attempts to manage the story, many remain doubtful, asking if a quick business visit genuinely justified Jakes' appearance at a gathering renowned for its potentially negative connotations. They added, Bishop Jakes was in LA for crucial business meetings, and we believed that a brief appearance at the former chairman of Revolt's birthday celebration was the proper thing to do, given Bishop Jakes' sermons are carried on the Revolt network. We both met the family. Bishop Jakes shot a quick celebration birthday video and went promptly to attend our other planned engagements. Any accusation to the contrary is wholly unsubstantiated, unverified, and false, Williams insisted. But at this point, the people don't believe any of these people. I mean, it's not just Monique throwing shade and stirring the pot, folks. We've also got Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, chiming in, and his perspective is seriously adding fuel to the fire. Now, Gene Deal isn't just some random internet commentator. He used to be right there in the thick of things, protecting Diddy and witnessing everything that went down at those infamous parties. And what's he saying? Well, he's basically saying that T.D. Jakes was probably partaking in something at Diddy's parties. And that's a pretty loaded statement.
And you've been to these parties, right?
Oh, yeah. I was there when he was doing the white parties in the Hamptons and the whole 9 yards. So I know what goes on at the parties. If, they probably got a little bit more freakier, as time went on, because they got to the point whereas that they didn't even care. It used to be secretly, where people used to go to, separate rooms and different rooms, and they wasn't doing that out in the public, but now they don't care. Men kissing men and all this other, that's just crazy.
See, the key thing here is that Gene Deal isn't just speculating or repeating rumors. He's claiming to have seen Jakes at these parties with his own eyes. This isn't hearsay, it's a direct eyewitness account from someone who was part of Diddy's inner circle. He wasn't just standing outside looking in, he was inside seeing who was there and what they were doing. So
why do you think he was going to these parties?
I think that he's going to the Diddy parties, bruh. If he's going, well, we know he's going to the Diddy parties, and I know that it's, I know what usually happens at the Diddy party, or what we told us happened at the Diddy parties. Maybe he needs to see it for himself, man. Maybe he needs to go there and really be involved in some things that could help save some individuals while they going to those parties. Or maybe he just going to, man, it's hard to even talk about why would you find a religious man, you know, when you know that the saints supposed to separate themselves from the sinners, and why would a religious man like himself be at a party which ain't nothing but sin that's going on, bro? Whether it's drinking, maybe fornicating, maybe, like I said, men on men, women on women. It's hard to put in perspective unless he's involving himself what is actually going on at the parties. It's hard, brother. Bro, you know, you can't, I really don't know why, as a spiritual advisor to him, that they buddy while he got a party with him like that and be at his parties. It's got to be, maybe it's something more that meets the eye.
Thing's statements imply that Jakes was actively engaged in whatever was going on at those events, and that's a huge thing. It raises fundamental issues regarding why a prominent Christian man like Jakes would be mingling with Diddy party. But you have to accept that maybe his home ain't right. It's one thing to hear rumors and supposition, but it's another thing completely to hear it from someone who was really there, someone who witnessed it with their own eyes. Gene Deal's testimony adds a degree of legitimacy to the charges against Jakes, and it makes it a lot difficult to dismiss them as merely unsubstantiated hearsay. It portrays a picture of Jakes as more than simply a casual friend of Diddy, implying a degree of engagement that raises major issues about his judgment, his honesty, and the principles he professes to represent. It obviously makes you wonder what more is going to come out in this entire affair, and if Jakes' reputation will ever recover.